everybody makes mistakes. Everyone. I'm the first one to make mistakes all day.
And good for you, because so many leaders can't admit, or they don't want to admit in front of other people that they've made a mistake. But it's such a critical part of being a good leader.
I think it is. I think all those mistakes actually make you stronger, and all that allows you to grow. If you don't make a mistake in life, I think you're not there yet.
Welcome to Money Market, a Bank of Tampa podcast. We highlight the businesses, expert business advice, the local economy, and points of interest in the Tampa Bay market. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, or wherever you find your favorite podcasts. And please share this episode with a friend or colleague. I am your host, Owen LaFave, the Pinellas County Market President for the Bank of Tampa, Tampa Bay's oldest and largest community bank. Today's guest is brewing up something delicious, warm, and brown. I'm talking about coffee. Today we're joined by Kahwa founder Raphael Perrier, or Raph. Thanks for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
So, and thank you for bringing my favorite coffee, which is Kahwa. And I know that sounds like a commercial, but I will tell you, and I know you know this, it is my favorite coffee. So I spent an inordinate amount of time at the second location in downtown St. Pete. So thank you for bringing it here.
My pleasure. Thanks for being a customer, loyal customer, all those years.
So your favorite drink is a large quad latte.
Yeah.
So that's just that's 4 shots of espresso.
4 shots of espresso.
Okay.
Large, and milk on it. Latte milk.
I had no idea that was a thing. So I had I plan to ask for it now, but I used to. This is an old story. This is years ago, but I used to order a cafe con leche just because I thought latte sounded a little effeminate. And not really understanding the difference. So I was at a cafe with a buddy of mine that was an attorney, and I had ordered a cafe con leche with no sugar. And the barista said, "Well, that's just a latte." And I'm like, "No, there's difference in the amount of like espresso and milk and so when my order was ready, she just yelled out. I mean, literally, I was 3 feet away from her. There's probably 50 people in the cafe, and she yelled out, "Owen, your latte is ready," just to tease me. But I mean, so what is the difference between a cafe con leche and a latte?
Sugar.
It's just sugar?
I mean, yeah.
So she was right.
Sorry. I mean, listen, the latte is, it's known more as a feminine drink because I think a lot of ladies drink it, but it's not more feminine than a cappuccino, an espresso,
Well, I feel like, if I'm going with quad, it's a little more masculine.
Stronger?
Quad,
stronger.
Latte. And then at some point in time, I did realize, comparing that, I felt like a latte maybe had a little bit more espresso in it than milk, but no, just the sugar.
No, it's just the difference is the texture of the milk. Okay. So the latte has no foam or almost no foam.
Okay.
That's really the difference. The con leche is the same thing. The cappuccino has the foam. So that's a little more foamy with the milk itself. But same coffee, same amount of milk.
Now, if I'm getting this correct, so in Italy, you can't drink cappuccino in the afternoon, right?
Nope.
Okay.
Espresso.
Frowned upon.
That's it. I mean, you can try. They'll scream at you. but no, I mean, yeah, it's a thing for them. Cappuccino is really morning. It's a morning drink. It's a breakfast thing. And then past 11, noon, then it's espresso.
Espresso.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So what's your background? Where are you from?
France.
Okay.
Yes. Nobody's perfect.
we accept you here. We're happy to have you here.
I'm actually American now, but I came from France 1996.
Okay.
So a little while ago. I'm old.
It has been a while.
Yes.
So, I mean, did you come over here to start the coffee business?
No.
I mean, what inspired you to?
I came here to study.
Okay.
So I did a French-American school in France, in Lyon. I'm from the Alps.
Okay.
So the skiing area and all that.
Beautiful.
Lyon, amazing food town. I wouldn't say best food in the world, but pretty close to it. And came to Philadelphia, actually, to go to Temple University.
Sure.
And I graduated from Temple. I did my last year of my bachelor here. And I graduated from Temple in 1997.
Okay. And what background?
Marketing.
Okay.
Which, I don't know, which is something, I guess.
It's a degree. Right?
That was the easy route, I guess. Right. Don't tell the marketing people, but no, I mean, I think I always enjoy the marketing because I think it covers a lot of things. It's not just business, but there's some business to it. It's some creative as well. It's a lot of fun things that I enjoy, and it's a people thing also, and I love people.
And we were teasing, but I mean, marketing is it's a diverse. It can be applied in multiple.
I think it's one of the most amazing business out there. I mean, without marketing, you don't have any branding. Without branding,
you do a lot of marketing.
And yeah, we try. Any company need marketing right now, and more than ever. So then I just I didn't want to go into corporate and work a corporate job, so I found a job in a coffee shop as a barista, and that was my first job. I worked for a coffee company called La Colombe in Philadelphia.
Okay,
which became something bigger than what it was when I started.
Okay,
I worked with the two owners very closely at the time, Todd and Jean-Philippe, and that was my first job. I just was a barista, and I became the coffee shop manager. And then after a couple of years, I went to the wholesale business with them, which is roasting and wholesale, which is restaurant, hotel, cafes. Learned that business as well, work with them as well. And work with a lot of chefs, the Georges Perrier, Jean-Georges, Daniel, all those guys.
So, some big chefs.
Yeah, in the northeast. We were based in Philadelphia, but I covered Washington D.C., Philadelphia, a little bit of New York, so things like that. So I got good connection at the time, and after I think 5 years working for them, I decided to do something else. I actually left the company and I opened a bar nightclub in Philadelphia.
Oh wow, that's a pivot,
right?
Yeah,
from coffee
from mornings to nights.
Yeah, nightlife. And so I opened the first bar nightclub downtown Philly. And I did that for 3 years, which was amazing. It was fun, too fun, because I love it. Until the wife told me enough is enough, and that was it.
Yeah, no more late nights.
Yeah, she's like, I think it's a lot, and she was right. I mean, it's the problem if you run a club.
It's our business.
Yeah, if you run a club and you're not there, it's okay. If you're there, it's pretty bad. Between everything that goes around, the alcohol and everything, it's just.
I tell you, but it's one of those businesses that unless you've got someone you really trust, you need to be there because it's really easy for your inventory to walk out the back door and money not get into the register.
Free drinks and 100%. But so we sold everything up there and moved to St. Pete. I actually met my wife 26 years ago.
Okay.
In the coffee shop.
Is that right? Okay.
Yeah. While I was working, she was a dancer at the time, classic modern dancer, and a choreographer was a friend of mine. Brought her into the shop, and he told me, he's like, I have a very nice lady that I want you to meet, and that was it.
Sarah is great, and thanks for the additional part of that story because you're talking about nightclubs, and I married a dancer, and I could have gone in a different direction. So,
when I introduce her, I always say, yeah, she was a dancer, like with the money kind of. She's like, right. But yeah, no, she was she danced for 25 years professionally, and so,
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was fun. So
I have a daughter that's in dance, so it's
a lot.
Yeah,
it's tough. I mean, if you do it, all the way, it's a lot on your body. It's a lot, at the time, it wasn't easy to get paid, doing shows and all that. So you get a second job, and it's a lot of things that you have to do that, I think, forge a good character as a person.
Discipline. And I don't think people realize how, they're athletes. And I can tell you that I did not appreciate as grueling as it was. When they're little, right? They're not doing complicated things, but as they get older and it gets a lot more technical and physically demanding, they're athletes.
Big time.
Yeah.
My wife had to stop because, it was too much on the body at one point. But it's amazing. When you love it, you do it. You love it. I've seen a lot of dancing in my life.
I'm sure.
A lot. A lot. And we have 2 daughters, so
Okay, some of it's amazing, but my condolences too because I've sat through. I got a little depressed once they got good, because when they were little and tiny and bad and they're turning the wrong directions, it was adorable.
Yes.
And then you went through this kind of in between phase where they were pretty good, but it just wasn't quite as entertaining. And then now that she's older, it's amazing and I can appreciate it, but there was a gap.
And you always, the funny thing is now you worry about them making a mistake or doing this or doing that, which at the time didn't bother because, they're young, it's cute, like you said. But then there's a stress now about, are they going to get it right? Is it, everything correct?
Well, in the meltdown when,
Yep. We have one that's now we have our youngest one who's 13. She's in more like a Broadway and, musical and obviously dancing. Yeah.
Good luck.
Yeah, thank you.
So why St. Pete? How did you end up in St. Pete from Philadelphia?
St. Pete because Sarah was actually raised here. She wasn't born here, but she was raised here.
Okay.
So she moved here when she was 5 years old. She's Canadian, and she moved here. She was 5. Her parents had a business here, did a lot of things in St. Pete, built a lot of things around St. Pete, and she was always raised here. She left for Philadelphia for the University of the Arts. And that's where we met. But I always, wanted to come back. We started coming here like a couple of times a year when we got together, and I just loved it. And I always told Sarah, I think there's a big potential in Tampa Bay. Love St. Pete, but in Tampa Bay in general. And that's where we decided to, when we sold the bar, I said, when we move back. And she's like, okay, sure.
Okay.
She wasn't very excited about it at first. You never want to go back home, right?
Yeah.
That makes sense. But I think it turned out to be fantastic, I think it was great for the kids. It's an amazing place to raise kids.
It is, yeah.
It's a fantastic environment in Tampa Bay in general. I think, we're lucky to live where we live. And so we came in. And actually, we came in to do a restaurant club at the time.
Oh, so you didn't start with coffee?
No. Okay. At first, we wanted to do the same thing that we did in Philly. But the deal didn't work out. It was in St. Pete. It was the old ceviche location in the Ponce de Leon.
Yeah.
So we didn't get the deal.
Downtown.
Ceviche got the deal. We worked at it for 6 months. I actually didn't work during that time. I played golf, which was fantastic. And then we didn't get the deal. And then we looked around and said, hey, why don't we do a coffee company? I know coffee. There's nothing around. You had nothing at the time. Nothing. You had the Starbucks. And then I think you had Joffrey's and Indigo, things like that.
Yep.
Which Indigo is no longer, and Joffrey's retail is not as much anymore. Right?
Sure.
So we said, when we do
Barney's, there might have been
Barney's was,
two,
Barney's was there. Yeah, right. You're right. Yeah. And then so we started Kahwa.
Now, were you looking at the retail side and saying, okay, I can go toe to toe with these other companies, or did you approach it initially from the wholesale side, which I think, the average person doesn't really understand the business, doesn't know what the business makeup is, and so when they think of Kahwa, they think of
retail.
The retail, driving on the road. They're seeing the brown and yellow. But how did you approach the business initially?
So we actually wanted to do the other way around, which was not retail; it was wholesale. So we opened a small warehouse in the South Side in St. Pete, on 8th Avenue South, 45th and 8th Avenue South at the time, and we just started roasting coffee. The idea behind was the knowledge that I had in the coffee business, if you want, with the roasting and the wholesale side of the business, which is restaurant, hotels, and all those things. So we got some coffee into a warehouse. We bought a roaster, bought a bunch of bags, and started roasting coffee. We did a grand opening in March 2006 in that small, I was thinking it was 3,000 square feet warehouse. Okay. So it was pretty tiny.
That's small?
Yeah, it was pretty tiny. And we did a grand opening. Nobody showed up. Except one guy. His name is Jeff Hook.
Okay.
And Jeff, at the time, was the Tampa Tribune writer, which is no longer here. Right. He was the food writer.
Okay.
So Jeff comes in, and we have bunch. We have maybe 10 coffee bags, the big bags, lay around. We put some plants, a table, and try to make it look cool, right? And then we have friends and family. That's about it. And Jeff comes in. He's looking at stuff, trying the coffee and all that. And he's like, "You want to sit down?" So I sit down with him at a small table that we had. And it's like, "Okay, so I'm not getting it. What are you doing?" I said, "We're creating the largest coffee company in Tampa Bay." And he's looking at me like, "Okay, that guy's crazy." And I said, "No, you'll see what we do." He's like, "Okay, good luck to you." It was very nice, right? And he wrote something actually about it, and it was very nice. And now every time I see Jeff around, now Jeff runs the marketing for Colombia, the Colombia group.
Okay.
And every time I see Jeff, I saw him like a couple of months ago before I got to Europe. He's like, "Do you remember that day? Like we sat down and you say you're gonna do that? You did it." I say, "Yeah, did it." So that was the idea. It's starting something from nothing, and try to slowly get, you need some breaks around. We got some good breaks, and, then 2 years after this, we started doing the first retail shop, which is the one, on 2nd and 5th.
So what was, what made that leap? I mean, was that just kind of a natural extension of the brand? Were you trying to create more market awareness? I mean,
yes.
Okay.
Yes. It was to kind of give a window to the brand, right? We had decent success on the wholesale, the biggest break we got was, getting Paul Bocu's restaurant in Orlando, in Epcot. That was a big deal for us. That opened a lot of doors for us into restaurant, cafes, and, obviously in Florida and beyond that. We also worked at the time with a chef called Michel Richard in Washington, D.C., who had Citronelle and Central, and was a fantastic guy. So we had a big market in Washington, D.C. as well from my old days, if you want. But we also felt that we needed some kind of window to showcase the product, to do tasting, to do all those things and get a brand recognition. It's very difficult to create a brand without a location. I always say, you open a restaurant, people come see it and figure it out and they come. You try to create a brand, it's a long process because you're trying to have people trust you with something that you have and they're going to bring it to their house or they're going to bring it into the business. So it's a long process. Plus, to be honest, it's we used to have coffee in the office with a coffee machine Monday through Friday, but then weekends were closed and we were having coffee at home, which wasn't the same. And it was kind of selfish that when we opened a coffee shop and we can have coffee on the weekend. Which sounds stupid when you think about it now, but it was actually, I think a fun idea. So we got lucky to find a location on 2nd and 5th. And that's how it all started, which is, when we did the construction, people thought we were crazy because there was a lot of weird things around the location. It wasn't condos and beautiful like it is now.
Okay.
We're talking...
Yeah, I mean, you were pioneering.
18, 16 years ago. Yeah. So everybody was like, why are you doing that location? And then we just started slowly. But we worked in the morning. We worked in the afternoon. We switched on and off. Who was working in the office, who was working in the shop, until we had someone that was, strong enough to become a leader, a manager in the shop. And so three months later, we put someone in place and then we kept on growing.
Now, as you were designing it, I mean, how did you try to differentiate, Kahwa from Starbucks?
I mean, I think that the European style of the cafe was really what we tried to do. As much as Starbucks claimed that, they design after Italian cafe, I don't really see it when I'm looking at it. I think that, the design that we did between the wood and the concrete and the wooden tables and all those things, well, it's really the signature that we did at the time. Now, did we reinvent anything? No. I mean, at the end of the day, you had plenty of coffee companies in the Northeast, in the West Coast that were already booming. And so we, inspired ourselves to what we thought was really matching what we're doing. Okay. Plus, I think what we design is kind of timeless in a way that we don't have to redesign it every couple of years or recreate every couple of years. It's simple. It's easy. We believe that it's not just about the location and what it looks like, but also about the coffee. The service is very important, and the team inside that, that's friendly and smiley, hopefully.
Well, it's very inviting, and it's interesting. And I'm comparing and contrasting Starbucks, and I don't want to spend too much time on it, but Starbucks had always marketed itself as kind of your third room. Yeah. Right. They wanted you to show up. They wanted you to stay there. And I feel like as the brand has evolved, they want to get you in and get you out. Right. It's a transaction. Like we don't want you to hang out here. Whereas, I mean, your second and fifth location might as well be a second. I mean, I'm literally 2 blocks away, but I mean, that is, I start a lot of mornings there and have meetings there and always feel welcome, and I can hang out afterwards and not being rushed out the door. And I'm sure maybe that's not great for business necessarily, but
no, it's a combination of both. You want the combination of people staying and hang out, and you want the people in and out as well. You can't have one or the other, that works. It's you want to make sure that your shop is not empty inside by having just in and out business, but you also want to make sure that it's not just full and people don't feel comfortable coming in and out. You got to be fast enough. Sure. So it's, coffee is always about convenience. So that's what you want.
So what's the process of selecting and sourcing the beans? I mean, I have to imagine that's an integral part of it. I don't know if conflict beans are still a thing, but
no, I mean, it's first you depend on the market, right? So you have to play with the market, which is the coffee market. You try to reserve things ahead, 6 months, a year. You play with pricing. You try to, work with farmers, yes, but it's not that easy. We select beans. We have, funny enough, we still have the same 6 main coffees, if you want, since we started.
Oh, no kidding. Okay. Yeah.
So we try to really keep the focus on the quality. We buy expensive beans. At the end of the day, it's like everything, we were talking earlier, You can buy expensive beans, you can buy non-expensive beans. It's up to you, whatever you want to do. But I think there's a difference in the quality of your coffee at the end.
Well, the non-expensive beans, right? You just roast the heck out of it so you can't tell.
Yes,
Is that the strategy?
You don't really find much into it, right? Mm-hmm. Like the nuance and the taste and the body and everything that you're trying to find on coffee is not really existing because you roast the crap out of it.
Now, so okay, the 6 original coffees that you have, how does that differ? I mean, for wine, for instance. So I mean, every year the grape is different. So I mean, is that kind of the same with coffee beans, or is there? The
coffee is more consistent.
Okay,
it's more consistent than the wine itself. Wine is really affected because it's the actual fruit right away that you press, right? A coffee bean comes from a fruit, but it's the inside of the coffee. So it's more forgiven, if I can say, with a little bit of changes. Now, again, if you have the same farm, the same environment, and hopefully the same crop, it's really close every single year.
Okay. How do you ensure? I mean, how many locations do you have now?
We have 16 corporate, 5 licensed, and then 3 franchise open.
How do you ensure consistency in all the locations?
Yeah, that's the name of the game, right?
right, yeah.
I mean, I think the consistency is first it comes from the roasting, yes, because we have a 20,000 square feet facility where we roast everything and we do everything. So we do cupping, we do control.
Come a long way from your little 3,000 square feet, huh?
Yeah. Yes, it's been a fun road, I guess. So that's the beginning. It's really the control on the quality of the product itself. Obviously, freshness is the name of the game for us. It's really what we try to do. We still roast on demand, as we call it, which is not really roasting every single order, but close to that.
How long will the coffee bean last? So, I mean, let's say you get the bag, you get it into the warehouse. I mean, can you stick it in the corner for 6 months? Or
I mean, as long as it's bagged and gas flushed, you can keep it for a long time.
Okay.
Ideal time for coffee is it's about 2 to 3 days to about 3 weeks. Okay. That's the ideal time. Then you want to do something with it. Okay. If you grind it, you bag it, you do whatever you want, but you want to do something.
Okay.
It's starting to get stale after that. But the plan for us is really putting a team together that's able to ensure the quality on every level. I think we got lucky enough with the years to grow with people that we still have with us now that, are able to control the quality in the shops, are able to make sure that the training is done right, are able to make sure that the quality in the office and the roastery is the right way. So it's a lot of people behind and with us that we've been working with that ensure all those qualities.
What would you say is the hardest part of the business? Is it that? Is it labor?
I don't know. Sourcing? I don't think sourcing. I don't think the product. I don't think the roasting. I think the labor is the biggest challenge. I would say the last 3-4 years. Again, I think we're lucky enough to have a good team around, not just in the management, but also on the shop level. I think delegating and trust is, for me, the biggest thing. Being able to let people do what they're supposed to do. Mm-hmm. I worked at it for a long time. I'm good at it now. Yeah, but
it's hard. It is.
Yeah,
hard
it takes a bit, to really trust and let people do what you hire them to do.
And maybe not the same way you would do it. Like if they still are getting it done, right? Yes. They're different people, but trusting them to, however you're going to get it done, get it done.
Yeah, but you need to learn how people function, right? And we don't do the same thing. We don't all function the same way. Doesn't mean it's right or it's wrong. No, I don't think so. But I think it takes a long time for someone to run a business to understand that there is no wrong and right in the way you do things. It's just a matter of seeing the result at the end and if it's really what you want. The result can be wrong or right, but the way to do it can vary.
Sure.
And I think if you're able to adapt yourself of the way people do things, then you're able to go with them.
Speaking of that, I'm probably being dependent on other people. How did you approach the scaling process as you're adding locations or depending on other people?
I think I can give a big shout out to my wife because I think she's the one who has more patience and is able to see more into people. And she taught me a lot all those years.
You got that French temper that's coming out?
Yeah, I wasn't a chef, but I have the temper of a chef almost. I changed a lot, to be honest with you. We can talk to the team, and especially since COVID, I've changed a lot on the way I think that I react and the way I'm trying to manage things and the way I looked at things in general. My philosophy right now, it could always be worse. right? We're lucky enough to be where we're at.
It's good perspective, yeah.
I'm not saying that we made it, but I think we are pretty good or pretty okay.
I'll tell you made it. I think you did okay.
I mean, yeah, I guess, but it's now it's looking at it and say, you know what, let's not. I always tell the team, it's like, I don't care how or why. I just want to figure out where we're going from this. Everybody makes mistakes. Everyone. I'm the first one to make mistakes all day. But
God, that is important as a leader, though, and good for you, because so many leaders can't admit, or they don't want to admit in front of other people that they've made a mistake. But it's such a critical part of being a good leader.
I think it is. I think when someone tells you right, it's great, but you also should be able to tell someone else that they're right. I think it's the way it works. And that's funny because looking at the franchising business that we launched about a year and a half ago now. Franchisee look at us, I think, in a way that we tell them we made mistakes. We tell them that, we've done all that for you. We suffer through all those things, and we made those mistakes. And I have no shame on the mistakes we made, and I have no shame on the ones we'll make in the future. I'm sure we will, as long as we learn from it. So it's just, it's being able to grow. I think all those mistakes actually make you stronger, and all that allows you to grow. If you don't make a mistake in life, I think you're not there yet.
No, you're not trying. You're not trying enough different things.
No, I mean, you can't. There's no way anybody can be 100% right or 100% exact or mistake-free.
You just stay in your house.
No, exactly. I mean, yeah, you watch TV maybe. And
right. A lot of Netflix.
A lot of Netflix. And you might make a mistake on pick up the show. So.
So, I mean, and talk about being further removed, but as you're now, franchising, and so even more detached, you're trusting, someone else as a franchisee to take care of the brand. How was that transition?
It's I would say different. Like people told us at the beginning, when you're gonna start franchising, it's gonna be a different business. It is a totally different business. I think I always compare it to the team that we built to do it. We're building a team of franchisees as well. You are lucky enough to select people. We are lucky enough to select people because I think we have a high demand on what's going on. So that gives us the capacity to say no instead of picking everybody that comes in. But I think we're building and selecting a good team of franchisees that understand what we are, who we're about, where we're going, what the company is about, the community involvement, and all those things, which at the end of the day, fixing the product itself is easy. We can come into a shop and help you make the coffee right if it's not. But fixing the mentality behind running your business,
the culture,
and the culture that you're implementing into your shop, that it's difficult to fix. If you don't have it or if you don't understand, it's very difficult. So I think, the biggest part for us is really the selection of those franchisees that we've done. And we got lucky enough right now to have a fantastic group of people that, really understand what we're doing and rely on us a lot. And we are also there for them as much as we can, maybe too much, which, might be a bad thing down the road. But I think at the beginning, it's great to be there for them and support them as much as we can.
Sure. And so only in Texas right now
No.
Okay.
With the one in Tampa, we just opened on Tampa.
Okay.
On Gandhi is a franchise.
Oh, okay.
So fantastic group, dad and then the girls, and they're doing a great job. We opened Texas 2-3 weeks ago. We do a grand opening mid-August. We'll go to do the grand opening with them. And then we so far we sold 20 units. So when we started the whole deal, I wanted to hopefully sell 5 for the first year. We sold 20. I asked the team also to slow down the sale.
Okay.
Because the biggest challenge in franchising right now is location. Finding the right location, finding the right deal, making sure that it's not crazy so you can survive. So we're trying to find those locations and help them open. We have 3 in construction right now on top of the one open, to really show and prove the concept.
Now, do you give them kind of, here's the parameters that we believe in terms of dynamics, market competition, this is what we want to see in the market?
Yes. And then we approve obviously the location and all that.
Okay.
So we are very present. I told them, it's funny, the franchisee, I tell them, it's like, I'm going to treat your store like it's mine. I'm going to do exactly what I would do for one of ours.
Are they receptive to that, or is this?
I think so. I think they really appreciate that. You have so many franchises nowadays that just sell you a franchise and you'll never hear from them for
Good luck
until you get a check, kind of thing. So I think they enjoy that. Am I overboard sometimes? Yes, but I tell them. Does that mean that I decide everything for them? Not at all. Can we try to advise them and try to guide them the right way? Yes, I think we don't have a group that came in and say, hey, I want 20 franchise and add it to my portfolio. That wasn't the idea of Kahwa. Down the road, we'll see, but right now it was not. So it's a lot of couples like Sarah and I who came in and they have capital, they want to do something for them, they believe in the brand, they believe in the product, and they just want to replicate what we've done. So yeah, I think it's working so far.
Well, part of your direct involvement too also helps itself to maintain that brand identity and maintain the consistency within kind of the Kahwa name. So and that's what they're buying into. So hopefully they would be receptive to that partnership.
I mean, we had people who came in and wanted to do a hookah bar with the Kahwa, or wanted to do beer and wine, and we told him nicely, sorry, it's not for us. So it's just not what we're looking for. It's not what the vision that we have for the company. So.
Now, is there a prototype of the store? Because also I know on 4th Street you just opened the new kind of container store, which is cool, but it's virtually just kind of a drive-through, right? I mean, there's
I mean. Yeah, we have free models if you want. The drive-through only, the drive-through and inside, and then what we call the inside stores of like we have hospitals, we have Mercedes-Benz, we have things. So we have different prototype. Yes. Now I think the key and the advantage that we have, you have coffee companies right now try to come to Florida where they want a land and build everything from scratch. That's $1 million all in to do that. We like to come in and take a building and work with it.
Okay.
Yes. We feel that there is some fun stuff to do with buildings to create and put a Kahwa in. First, it's not as expensive. A franchise costs $250,000, $300,000 of Kahwa, so you're a third, if not less, of the price, and you're able to go faster to do it, to create something a little bit unique. Even though we have the perimeters for the stores and the brand and the colors and everything that goes with it, I think you can create some fun stuff with what we find.
Oh, that's interesting. So, but I guess in a way, I mean, maybe you're sacrificing that kind of cookie cutter consistency that you get with some of the other big brands. But as long as you maintain, kind of the color scheme and you get some uniqueness and variety too.
Exactly.
That you don't.
Exactly. I think we like the uniqueness of I think it makes us different than the Starbucks or the whatever it is that's trying to come in Florida right now. And I think that the Tampa Bay area and Florida in general is very receptive to that. They do not like the franchise cookie cutter thing at all.
Yeah.
It's, a building that's a square building with a drive-through and doesn't look like anything, doesn't appeal to Tampa Bay.
Right.
Something that's a little bit different. Look at it around, like all the shops that are working, the fun stuff is all a little different, a little bit funky. I think it gives you a uniqueness that's fun.
Do you think that it also kind of comes from being in St. Pete, that that unique kind of local artsy feel to it?
I would say yes, but I mean, we do that in Tampa as well. We do that, in Sarasota. So I don't think it's just St. Pete itself. I think it's in Tampa Bay in general. I think, you have a fun community around. It's when we moved here, I was very surprised with the support and the cheer that we got from the community by opening Kahwa. It's something that's very unique, I think, to Tampa Bay in general. People root for you and they're excited and they're proud of what you create.
Yeah.
And it's I mean, we take it for granted now and we all think it's normal, but I came from the Northeast where it wasn't like that.
Okay.
Now maybe the time was different, yes, but it still was not as, I don't know. People are very enthusiastic here about what you do. They care. They want to support you. They'll go to your shop instead of a corporate one or a big name.
Yeah, support local.
Yes,
right?
exactly. Yeah, I think it's a big thing.
Now, just in terms of the brand, and not that this is a big risk, but I loved the cans that you did with Yala Ford.
Yes.
Yes. I mean, to kind of talk about that partnership and that design.
So that's I would say mostly my wife, even though the can was my idea. The execution, everything was Sarah.
Okay.
It's with the St. Pete Art Endowment, which is connected to the Art Alliance. Sarah is on the board of the Art Alliance. And we created that can about, I think, a year and something ago. We did 4 cans for the first year with different artists. The idea is to put art on the can, put coffee inside it, and we donate all the net proceeds back to the foundation. So for us, it's a community involvement. Now, Ya is, a big deal for us. Obviously, I think she's a big name out there.
International now. I mean,
yes,
it's been amazing to see her grow. Yeah.
She did skis not long ago with, I think, Rossignol or whatever that ski company was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something crazy when you think about it. She's fantastic. She's an amazing lady. I mean, love her to death.
She's great.
She's great. Easy to work with. Was so excited about creating the can. I mean, it's, so again, for us, it's part of giving back to the community. When, like I said, when we started 18 years ago, people supported us. We didn't have the means that we do have now. So now we can help and support. And I think, the can is a fun way to do it. Plus, the arts community in Tampa Bay in general is absolutely fantastic. And it's fun to support that.
Talk about giving back, because you are incredibly involved in the community. So how big is that a part of your, I guess, personal ethos, as well as the Kahwa brand? And maybe like third tier to that question is, your franchisees. Is that a requirement that you expect out of them too?
I mean, it's not a requirement, but it's something that we need to see into some franchisee. Meaning that we're not putting a dollar amount, or we're not putting an amount in general of coffee donation or this or that, but they need to understand that Kahwa is where it's at because of what we've done for the community in general. And it's the idea of the franchising, which is to really be involved in the community as much as we can. When you grow as a corporate, 16 corporate stores right now, it's not easy for Sarah and I to be everywhere. Having a franchisee in Lutz help us connect with the community and be able to be there. The giving back, I think it's always been part of what we wanted to do. Again, you do it to different level as you grow. The beginning, it's just coffee.
Right.
And as you grow, you just try to be part of the community. I think that the world would be a better place if everybody would, try to give back a little bit.
I agree.
And I'm not, I'm French. I left France. I'm not about giving everything to everybody. It's not that. But I think that I think supporting, as much as you can to a certain extreme level, whatever you can, I think it's key of what you should be doing. Plus, I think it's enjoyable. I think, we have 2 kids. We want them to be proud of what we're doing. Sarah was in the arts community for a long time, the nonprofit. She ran a nonprofit, community, company as well. We know what it takes, and I think that it's not that's a requirement for anybody, but I think it's a fun thing to do, and
no, it's it's the right thing to do.
Yes, someone started working with us at the office, I think like a year ago, and when she was handling all the donation demand that we get, which is, to be honest, every day. And
can only imagine.
It's pretty crazy, but. I think 2 or 3 weeks after she started, she looked at me, she's like, are we ever saying no? And I said, no, I don't think so. Unless it's really something we don't want to do. She's like, that's pretty crazy. I'm like, yeah. So, yeah.
Well, it's to be admired for sure. I get maybe kind of final couple questions. I am curious, working with your spouse and having been successful for as long as the 2 of you had. What's the secret to making that partnership work?
I don't know. I think the secret is one being patient, which is not me.
You mentioned,
and
what you've learned as you got wiser.
No, I think it's to feed off of each other. I think it's understanding that at the end of the day, it's a business, right? It's amazing, but it's a business. I think if your couple itself is strong, then working together doesn't change much. It's actually an advantage because we don't need to do meetings to decide things. We go take a plane somewhere and we decide the next 6 months of the company in 3 hours of meeting that we do. We able to take a trip somewhere and talk about, even though the kids hate it, talk about coffee all the time. But no, I think, and I think it's, I'm very, Sarah would tell you, I'm very risky, very risk taker. I love to just shoot for the moon, and she tells me how to get there. So I think we work together very well because the fact that we don't...
So you complement each other.
Yeah, 100%, and we don't do the same thing. She runs the company, I grow it.
Okay.
So as much as we work together, we're not all like I see her at the office, and sometimes we don't talk for I don't know a day.
Okay.
And we meet at the house. So. But again, I think patience. I think on both sides, patience is key. I have a wonderful wife. I'm lucky, and she made a wonderful business partner as well. So.
No, that's amazing. Congratulations. So as a business owner, one of the most important things too is protecting the brand, and you've grown and created an incredible brand. So as you continue to grow, I mean, what advice would you give to another business owner of protecting that brand, especially as you're franchising and branching out across the country?
I mean, it's the most important asset. Your brand is really what is key of your business. You want to make sure that it's portrayed the right way. You want to make sure the drinks and all this, yes, but also, we always tell franchisee drinks are one thing, service is key. You don't want to be known as a rude coffee shop that everybody doesn't want to go to. The brand recognition is the biggest challenge for any brand out there. It's what you work for so many years. Like I said, you open a restaurant tomorrow, everybody's going to check it out. I have a coffee I want you to try. I'm going to have to work a lot on that brand for you to trust me to put it in your cup or to do whatever I want you to do with. So I think the brand recognition in any companies, anything it is, could be toilet paper, it could be anything. It's why people buy your company. So
the brand, the reputation, and I think to that point, it's you spend so much time building it, and it's so easy, as we found, like with Budweiser, right?
Yeah,
to
right.
almost like go away overnight.
I mean, ask them how fast it was to do it.
Yeah.
It's the most challenging part of the business. It's really how do you define your brand, how do you keep the consistency, and how people see it. It's really, you can try to portray anything you want in your brand, but if people don't receive it the right way, it can not go where you want.
No, absolutely. So speaking of brand consistency, consistency in the actual coffee making process in the stores, what is the training process like for employees?
So we have two ways, right? We have the corporate level, which is the stores. We have a corporate trainer. That's what he does all week. Train. You start working for us at the shop by a couple of months. You're learning about the coffee. You're learning about the company. You're learning about a lot of things in the shop. And then when we think you're ready, you come into the corporate office. We have a training facility there. You spend time with Renan for, I think, 3 or 4 hours to learn the basic of being a barista. You then go back to your shop. Your manager kind of oversees you practicing. And then when the manager thinks that you are a level where you can be a barista certified, then you come back to the office, the corporate office, and then we give you a test and then couple drink quizzes if you want that you're making. And then you become a barista and you become a Kahwa certified barista. On the franchise side, we have a week-long training, which is 5 to 7 days according to what we're doing, where from the owner to your manager to whoever wants to be involved comes in the office.
Okay, good. So you put the owners through the same training as all the employees.
I mean, it's the idea of what we're trying to do is we want people, I know everything about the company. You need to know everything.
They need to know, right?
It's as simple as that.
It's their company too, right?
It's easier to understand how the business goes or the issue you have if you know it, right? So they come in, we spend about 3 days into barista training. And then we also train you on, croissant making, ordering, scheduling, everything that you would need to run your business and make sure that you run right. So it's 5 different people involved. Even the technician that we have that does train you on how to adjust your grinder, how to adjust your coffee maker if you need to. So it's different level and different morning and afternoon. Then you go to the shop itself. You do an opening in the morning. You do a closing at night. You do all those things that you would do if it was your shop.
Now, I know you're very particular about your coffee, but as a Frenchman, are you very particular about your croissants?
Yes. You think? I mean, the croissant we use are Le Coq, and it's a French company actually. That
I would expect nothing less,
right? And we bake all of them into the shops, and it's fresh every day. It's fantastic.
Maybe the last question is just if you would have to give advice to an aspiring entrepreneur, what would it be?
I mean, I always say, believe in what you're doing. If you don't believe, just don't do it. Anybody can do anything. It's very simple. You just gotta keep working at it. It's not easy. Sometimes it's easier, sometimes it's really difficult. But if you don't believe, then don't bother. If you believe, you'll get it.
That's great advice. Raph, if people want to know more about Kahwa or want to buy a franchise, I mean, where would you direct them to?
I mean, very simple, kahwacoffee.com. You have all the information for everything that you want, from buying coffee to become a wholesale partner to franchising to everything that you want.
All right. Well, appreciate you coming on. Thank you for the coffee. I'll be caffeinated for the rest of the day. We're fully stocked. So thanks for coming on Money Market.
Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
If you have a question or future show idea or would like to be a sponsor, you can send us a message at moneymarket@bankoftampa.com or find us on LinkedIn, X, Facebook, and on Instagram at Bank of Tampa and online at bankoftampa.com. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for subscribing, and we'll see you around in the Money Market.